The new popular talking point on the American left is that conservatives don't know how to define the word woke. Well, let me give them what they asked for. You want to know what it means to be woke? It means you believe that your identity is based on your race, your gender, and your sexual orientation, and that there's an invisible power structure in the laws of nature that say that if you're white, you're straight, and you're cis, and you're male, then you're at the top of that hierarchy. And if you aren't one of those things, then you're on the bottom of that hierarchy. That there's an invisible relationship between those oppressors and those who they oppress. And that's how human relationships work. That's what it means to be woke. Further, it means you also believe that you need to correct for that hierarchy, that you need to solve it by using any means necessary, not just political power, but economic power and cultural power to correct for those invisible societal injustices. That's not just my definition. That's the definition used by people who were proponents of the woke movement just a decade ago. All right, so Jen Psaki, whoever else it is perpetuating this false narrative that conservatives can't define woke, there it is. I've done it.
Yeah, you know what, guys, man? I totally agree with this definition of woke, man. I agree. That's pretty much spot on, man. Again, the far left, not even the far left really anymore. Pretty much everyone on that side of the aisle, some more than others, but, they put people into groups into categories, into groups based on their race, based on their sex, based on their orientation, whether they're trans or and again, man, they say that white straight men are at the top and most people are in between, depending on where and there are some people at the bottom. And again, that is the way it is. And if you're at the top, you have it easier in life by default. You have it easier. You have things given to you. And if you're in the middle, things are a little bit more difficult for you. And if you're at the bottom, it's next to impossible for you to get ahead in life because you're at the bottom, man. You have a low ranking. But again, man, how dare you, if you dare to put somebody into a group, people into a group, or even state facts about something, even state, stats about something and say whatever, man, you aren't allowed to, if it even slightly puts people into groups, man. Again, you're not even allowed to state stats. You can't say the truth about something because you're automatically racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever. So the fact of the matter is, man, they can put people in groups, but you can't. As a matter of fact, if you dare question what they're doing, if you say, yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't agree with your conclusion that that somebody at the top has a easier time at life and somebody at the bottom. I don't agree with that, fake system that you have of privilege and oppression and whatever based on, external characteristics or whatever. I disagree with that. If you disagree, man, you're automatically racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever. So, yeah, the thing is, man, just nowadays, man, it's just, they want you to keep your mouth shut. That's what it is.
Here's my problem with the woke movement. All right, it began as a challenge to the system in some liberal arts academy somewhere. I'm fine with that. Anyone can have an idea. But what began as a challenge to the system actually became the new system in America. And what that's done is it's first rejected this idea of the individual having a sense of agency in their own lives. It says that if you're black, you're inherently disadvantaged, that if you're white, you're inherently privileged. No matter your economic background or your upbringing, Your race and your gender and your sexual orientation determine who you are and what you can achieve in life and even what you're allowed to think. This is un-American. The second problem with it is that that then creates a new culture of fear in our country. You want to know how that works? Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley famously summed it up when she said, "We don't want any more black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't want any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice." Think about that for a second. It says that your race has not to do with your skin color anymore, but with your ideas, your viewpoints. And when that happens, it means any disagreement with those ideas automatically makes you a racist, and there is no greater damnation in modern America than to be called a racist. So when given that choice versus bending the knee to this new secular cult, everyday Americans are choosing to bend the knee. And that culture of fear is what's completely replaced our culture of free speech in America.
Man, I agree. I agree totally with what he's saying again. Because not only do they put us into categories, do they put people into categories and say, you know what, you made it because you're at the top, or you did make it because you're at the bottom, or if you did make it at the bottom, it's because you worked really hard and you did really good. So again, they try to take the merit system away. They say, you didn't make it because of merit or whatever, unless you're at the bottom of the barrel. If you're down on the totem pole and you make it, then they're like, oh, you made it because you worked really hard and did a really good job. But if you made it and you're at the top, or what they call the top, if you're a white straight man, then you made it because of your race, because of your, because you're a man, you're part of the patriarchy, you're part. And it's like, again, they won't even concede that merit has something to had all to do with it. Everything. You worked hard for something. Again, they don't want to concede that to you because, again, it has to fit within that category. And, again, man, we're doing such a disservice to our young people, especially because, again, we're telling them that you're going to make it, or you're probably going to make it. And if you do make it, it's because you're white and male and you're privileged and whatever, and you so feel guilty. And the other end of the spectrum, if you don't make it, it's because you're low in the totem pole. You're whatever. You're black. You're brown. Or you're what, and that's not true either. And so you might as well just give up before you even start. And again, man, that's doing such a disservice to our young people. Because again, man, you're telling them something that isn't true, and you're passing it off like it is true. And you're warping, man. You're warping things. I mean, no wonder things are the way they are.
Yourself. Ask yourself. Think about the people you work with at work. Think about who your classmates are at school. Are you sure it's really the best people who get the job in America anymore? I think most of you, if you're being really honest, will say that that's not the case. That's not the America that exists today. It's the America we knew. It's not the America that exists today. That too is a product of the woke movement, which creates race-based and gender-based quota systems all across the country so that people get the jobs that they get, the positions that they get today, not because they earned it, but because of their genetically inherited attributes. That's wrong. That too is anti-American. But the worst part of all of this is that it divides us. It divides us to a breaking point. You want to know why? Tocqueville actually observed this years ago when he traveled America. A diverse democracy is not supposed to stand. It's supposed to fall under the weight of its own division unless there are these sacred spaces that can bind us together, whether or not we're black or white, man or woman, Democrat or Republican, places where we can come together in common cause, the companies where we work, the churches where we worship, the universities where we learn the things that we learn. The woke movement says every one of those things becomes a political bastion instead, advancing this agenda, this race and gender and sexual orientation-based view of the world. And you want to know what happens then? We lose our ability to be one people. We lose those spaces where we otherwise used to come together. And if you want to know why this country is being divided to a breaking point, the woke movement in America is a big part of the reason why. Now, I genuinely believe some people who adopt this philosophy are well-intentioned. And if you're one of those people on the left, here's what I'll tell you. I'll do my part. I'll come on your networks. I'll do whatever needs to be done to air this debate and have it in the open. But don't play this game of gaslighting the right by saying that you're making up this problem of wokeness and can't even define it. That isn't true. I've done it. Ball's in your court. Jen Psaki, MSNBC, whoever it is, you want to have the debate, fine. I'll come have it on your home turf. But don't tell me that we in the conservative movement don't understand it, because we do. And in fact, we're the ones ready to debate it.
You know, guys, I definitely agreed for the most part with everything he said. But also, man, at the end of the video, there were 2 points that he made, and I want to talk about for just, a second. But, one being, do we really believe the best people are getting the jobs? And I don't think so. I don't think, man, for the most part, the best people, the most qualified people get the jobs. Because again, for the most part, man, people are looking to check the boxes, man. They gotta have so many people of color. They gotta have so many women. They gotta have, and again, I'm not discriminating against anyone. But if you're looking for diversity, if you're actively looking to hire certain people, you're not looking to hire somebody based on their qualifications that have the actual best qualifications. You're looking at hiring somebody because of the color of their skin or because of their gender. You're not looking to hire people based on whether they have the most qualified. So again, man, they might have some of the qualifications or, all the qualifications, but are they the best people for the job? Could you have hired the other guy with a little more experience or a little, yeah, they could have, but did that person check the boxes? And that's the problem, man. That is what the problem is. And, in number 2, he said that, and I agree totally with this, man, that if we don't have something to unite us as a country, as a people, and right now with all this division, again, man, we're going to fall apart because there's no way that we're going to stand. And again, I believe this in a lot of ways is intentional. But again, there's no way that we're going to survive this being divided. We have nothing to bring us together, no common core to bring us together. I was thinking about 9/11, man, and for those old enough to remember, what happened afterwards, the aftermath. The country came together. We came together as a people. And, the thing is, man, we all wore the American flag pins on our shirts and everything else. But the thing is, man, we came together. We thanked our police officers, our firefighters, and we thank them for their service and their bravery. But now, man, we are throwing them under the bus. Again, man, there is no way this country is going to survive what's going on now. And the people that, again, are being used to tear it apart, they're being used and they don't even realize they're being used. They don't even see it. They're too blinded by hate and by rage where they don't even see that they're being used. Anyways, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a.